welcome back to FiddleUP. I'm Emerald Ray, and today we're going to learn one of my favorite tunes in the whole world. This is The Burning House, and it was written by my dear friend and mentor, Brenda Stubbart. And if you don't, I'm sure you've heard of the tune Brenda Stubbart's Reel. But did you know that Brenda is one of the best fiddle players in the whole world and one of the best tune writers in the whole world? And she is really not as well known as she deserves. She is, kind of stays in Cape Breton a lot and, toured around, back in the day, but doesn't get off of Cape Breton Island very much anymore. And I just want everybody to know about her and her playing. And she's got some incredible records. And man, girl knows how to write a tune. Seriously. This is such a great tune. And she writes so much, she just spits tunes like this out. And the reason this tune is so brilliant is because it sounds really old. Like it sounds like it was written by a piper in the 18th century. It really is super cool. It's very Cape Breton as well at the same time. And it's just very kind of quintessential Cape Breton sounding. And it's a great tune. It's very addicting. Once you start playing this tune, it won't leave you alone. And so I'm going to teach it to you so now that it can infect your mind. So we're going to be playing around with a lot of fourth finger today. I'm going to insist on that. And if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But if you don't want to do it, you're missing out, because this tune is a wonderful opportunity to work on your fourth finger. And you really need it to get the Cape Breton sound in this tune. You could play... but it loses a little steam there. So using the fourth finger is going to be a lot more stable. So if you see what's happening there, when I do my fourth finger, I'm actually getting a lot of unisons on my E string because I'm still playing the E string. All right, so I'm going to teach it to you the way I think you should play it, and you can decide how you want to play it later. So starting off with the fourth finger on the A string, so that's an E. So that's E, open A, and then B, E, D, B. So this is all on the A string. Whew, this is going to be a workout. See what I mean about the pipiness? This is such a pipe tune. So let's try the two phrases together here, just slowly. Oops. So that second phrase is B, up to the E with your fourth finger, open A, and then B, A, B, A, A, B. All right, so just so we don't get confused, let's do those two together because they make more sense together than they do apart. So it is repetitive, but it's repetitive on purpose. It really works very well. So here we go. We're going to go for a chord change. So we're going to start off on your D on your A string and hop down to the G on your D string. So I am hopping there. I often suggest people bar over, but that won't work here, because you really need your whole finger over that G to make this. I mean, you could, yeah, it's not going to be as strong. And then you're going to pop up to your B on your A string. So that's. And then the next phrase is. So that's starting on the D on your A string, up to the G on your E string, and then F sharp A, and then G E D B. One more time. Okay, so we have our second phrase in entirety here. Sounds like this. So extra points if you can guess what this chord is that we're outlining. Can you guess? It's a G major. So that's why this tune sounds so pipey, because we have an implied A minor chord in the beginning, and then we're switching to a G. So it's A, G, A. You know, that is very, very pipey. That's kind of all pipes can do. Just kidding. It's not all they can do, but it's what they do most of the time. So let's play this G phrase one more time. Okay, so let's put it together with the first part, because it all is going to make sense. So starting with your fourth finger on the E on your A string. All right, let's try it again. And if you want extra points, then you can play your open E in this beginning part. Okay, let's try that. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next part, which sounds exactly like the first part. And then continuing on, it's still the same. Except for that part, but that's really easy. And I'm sure you can just do that, but let's do G, E, D, B, open A, and open E. So that last fourth phrase sounds like this. You don't have to put that triplet in, but go ahead if you want to. I didn't mean to do that. It just popped out. So... I would have more control over my hands than I do, but I don't. But that's kind of what you're going for. So there we go. We have the whole A part now. So let's go through the whole thing really slow. And so we've got that. So we're starting off with your fourth finger. 3, 4. Go. So the only thing we have to add is the pickups, and we need those to be able to do the turnarounds here, or the repeat. So the first ending, the first repeat is going to be okay, so I'm just going to go dun da 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 da. It's just an A, B. So you can do that, or you can do a different pickup if you want to, because pickups are entirely up to you. But I find that one works kind of nicely. And then we're going to do a really wild pickup into the... we're going to have some wild B pickups on the B part, but we'll save those for after. Let's play the whole A part with our repeat, and we'll do just our B down here as the pickup. 2, 3, 4. There it is. That's that pickup heading into the B part here. We're gonna go A, B. So that's open E and then fourth finger on the E string. And then that is the pickup into the B part here. And the B part starts off like this. So that's pretty easy. I bet you can get that all in one bite. So that's that wild B. And so a wild B is actually a technical term in Cape Breton music. And it just stands for those wild top B pickups that come up in pipe tunes here. And so you'll hear them now if you're listening to Cape Breton music. You'll hear random top Bs, and this is one of those. Even though it doesn't sound that random, it does sound really wild when you get going very quickly. So I'm going from top A, E, E, and then starting on the G and heading down. So that's G, F sharp, E, D, and then E, A, B, C, B, A. And so let's try that one more time. Pretty standard. And so we're gonna move on to our G chord here. So see, it's kind of wild. So let's go from so that's B, G, 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 G on the D string. So I'm just outlining a whole G chord here. So that's B, G, 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 D, G, B, D. Coming up to the E string, E, G, F sharp, A. So I'm kind of crawling up with broken thirds there. And then this part is weird. So we have G, E, D, B. So that's G, E, D with your third finger on the A string. And then just leave it there and grab your B on the E string. So I told you your fourth finger is going to get a workout today. So that whole bar there sounds like this. One more time. Excellent. Okay, so we have this second phrase here sounds like this. One more time. One more time for good luck. Okay, cool. So let's do what we have so far so we don't get lost. So I don't get lost. Let's start with this B up at the top here so we don't forget it. Ready? All right, can we try that one more time? Starting with the wild B at the top. Okay, so continuing on, we have some similar things. So you have actually done all that, just not together like that. But I think you can figure it out. So we're going to do most of what we did before, but instead of, we'll just play that second ending of the A part. Okie dokie. Okay, so let's do the whole A part as we have, the whole B part as we have it so far. And then I'm actually going to continue on and show you how the tune ends because you actually know the rest of it now. So I'll show you how it all pieces together. So we have the first and second phrases here. And then we have the second variation of this. And then we're going to rewind all the way to the beginning of the A part again. And then the last phrase is... How cool is that? So what's happening at the end there is we went back to the A part. And so this is called a tag when you have a little bit of the A part at the end of the B part. And this used to be a way, you know, I think it comes from, you know, because there's a lot of old tunes that are really short. And when they started making dances that were longer and they needed to extend these tunes, I think this was just kind of a clever way of extending the tune a little bit, and it really throws your, you know, if you're not used to it, it can throw your ear, but if you are used to tags, then it just signals that like, oh, we're going to go back to the A part in a minute. It's almost like a little foreshadowing. So it's nothing to be afraid of. What's really interesting in this tune is that it's so long. It's actually very rare to have a whole 4 bars of the A part right in the tune. So this is a little unusual. So I'm going to go through, you know, the whole A part again slowly, and I'll try to give you some eyebrows for when things are coming. But basically, you know, if you think about, you know, that question and response thing that we've been talking about, you know, the whole, they're just in 4 bar sections for this tune. So that first line there, that's question 1. And then that's answer 1. And then we go back to the question again. And then answer 2 is the A part. Okay, so I hope that made sense. Maybe we can just go ahead and play it now. So let's start there. 1, 2, 3. So there we go. There are no repeats for that. And, you know, we can do it one more time if you want to, but I think we should probably just play the whole tune. You know, there's no repeats for this B part. It's so long that you definitely wouldn't repeat. It's very long. So let's go back to the A part because we have all the, and play that twice. And then we'll go into our big B part here. And then we will have the whole tune. Very exciting. 3, 4. Burning House. And I just love this tune so much. So if you want to level this tune up, you're going to want to play it faster. We're going to just want to make a meal out of those unisons. And so I'm going to show you how you make this tune sound really Cape Breton-y. So we've already done some of this stuff. We're going to add some first finger trills here to really get it going. So what you can do is, after you've done this, all this fourth finger stuff, what I'd like to squeeze in, and it usually comes out messy, but that's kind of the point of it, is to do a fourth finger trill. Now, no, don't pass out. It's, I know this is kind of a lot, but I'm actually hitting my fourth finger there, and it usually comes out messy, and that's kind of the point. Okay, so that is fourth finger, fourth finger trill, and then I'm doing a first finger trill here. I know that's a lot, but usually it's not quite that much, and you don't have to do all that. You could pick either or. And then continuing on, another first finger trill there. Now that's a nice one to put in. So that's a third finger trill up at the top. Third finger trill down to the G. And then continuing on. And then. And you can do a warble there with your, and put your first finger on the B so you get a nice G chord there. So I'm just lifting up my second finger. It's another first finger trill on your A string. Okay, so that is what I would do for the A part. Right, as much of that as you can fit in, and then in the B you'd play something like this. So this is something I do a lot. This isn't necessarily a Cape Breton thing, but it's something that I like to do, and it does make it sound a little bit Cape Breton-y. It just sounds fiddly. I'm sliding up on my G. You hear that? It's just very subtle. I'm almost sliding my first finger a little bit there. What am I doing? Yeah, I'm actually sliding both fingers, but just a tiny bit. It's very slight. And I feel like it fits into that phrase so well because it already sounds like you're slipping downwards, so it just kind of adds to it. This isn't something that I decided to do. This is just something that my fingers started to do one day. So if you develop any idiosyncrasies, just let it go. So I'm just doing a little second finger double trill there. So that phrase is the same. It's the same thing. I did a little bit of that slidey thing again. So same stuff. And then the last phrase. just always end with a big chord at the end. That's the whole, that's the whole thing. So this is The Burning House. I hope you enjoy this tune as much as I do. I hope you play it all the time, and I will see you in the next video.